7.3 kilos. That's what came out of the ground this morning. I had to chip at the soil first. The frost goes down maybe 8 centimeters at night, even in March. The chakitaqlla hits that crust and you feel it in your wrists. This specific resistance, dense and cold, like the ground hasn't committed yet to the new day. You press the foot peg, put your weight on it, work the lever. It takes about 10 seconds per strike. You can't rush it. Used to move that in basis points before breakfast. 7.3 kilos. I'm optimizing for yield on this plot. The position is sized right. I wrote that in the caderno last night. The Rite in the rain, black cover, cost $3.50 at the market in Potosi. Columns, dates on the left, numbers on the right. Same handwriting I used on the HQC portfolios for 31 years. Smaller columns now, different numbers. March 14, 2021, 3rd Avenue, Manhattan. BlackRock's counsel had a very clean conference table. 2 senior directors, their attorney, my attorney Gerald Kessler, 62, my outside counsel since 1994, whom I had never seen visibly uncomfortable until that afternoon. The term sheet was 1 page. The number was $380 million. I looked at it. No. I didn't say why. Gerald's expression told me he had just watched a client lose his mind in real time. I said, "I'll be in touch," and walked out to the elevator bank. The position was clear. I called Derek Cho, 44, my head trader, from the lobby. 16 years he'd been with me. I said, "Wind it down, orderly, 90 days. He said, "Understood, clean exits," and hung up. I stood in that lobby for maybe 2 minutes. The Bloomberg terminal showed the S&P up 1.4%. I never heard from Derek again. I still don't know if that was professionalism or something else. Both would make sense. The math doesn't resolve it. The fund at peak was $22.4 billion in AUM. A 1% drawdown on that book is $224 million. In a single afternoon, gone. The visceral version of that is what woke me up at 3 in the morning for 3 years, convinced I had missed a Bloomberg alert. I'd check the phone, nothing there, go back to bed. 2 hours later, the alarm. I never ran the risk model on myself, that's the thing. I ran it on everything else. The carry trades, the volatility surface, counterparty exposure, the correlation matrix. I had a proprietary framework that told me with reasonable confidence when a position was oversized relative to the edge, when to cut, when to hold. I applied it to every dollar in the book, never once to the allocation of my own time. Bloomberg called me the Pittsburgh quant after the 2008 returns. I was plus 31.7% while the broader market was down 38. The piece ran on a Friday. I was in the office until 9 p.m. I didn't read it until 2022 in Potosi at a cyber cafe on Calle Bustillos, on a screen with a keyboard missing 3 keys. I read it twice. The position was clear. I just hadn't looked at the full book. The Kelly criterion is a formula from 1956. John L. Kelly, Bell Labs. Bet in proportion to your edge. If your edge is 0, the formula tells you to bet nothing. The math is elegant. It maximizes long-run growth without ruin. I used variations of Kelly for every position I've held since 1993. Every one. The formula requires 2 inputs. The probability of winning and the magnitude of the win relative to the loss. Get those inputs wrong and the formula gives you a number that feels right and destroys you gradually. Susan asked me to leave the fund before Caitlin went to college. This was 2005. She wasn't asking me to stop working, she said, just to stop running. The kids are not a line item. That's the phrase she used. She said it once, quietly, and didn't repeat it. I ran the scenario. The upside of staying was quantifiable. The downside of leaving was, I told myself, also quantifiable and acceptable. I had the edge. The bet was proportional to the edge. I had the wrong inputs. Susan and I were divorced by 2009, the year of the plus 31.7. I was in the office the night the decree came through. There was a position in Korean won that needed attention. I closed the position. P&L settled. I went home and I sat in the kitchen and I ate a turkey sandwich and I felt nothing. And that is different from feeling nothing because there is nothing to feel. I knew there was something to feel. The nothing was data. I did not record it. Caitlin is 38, Atlanta. I sent the February birthday email. Read receipt came back 2 days later. I haven't been back to check since. Meg is 35, Toronto. She sends short replies. Thanks, Dad. The gaps have gotten longer, but the replies still come. I have a model for most things. I don't have one for this. There's a woman named Farida Nasiri. She's 67. She runs a family office out of Abu Dhabi. In 1998, she wired $340 million to the fund on the basis of a 45-minute meeting. No intermediary, no consultant recommendation. She stayed through every drawdown. She never called during the down months. When I announced the wind down, she called. She was the only person who called. She said, "You did good, Peter." Not, "You did well." Good. I didn't know what to do with it. I said thank you and we hung up. 340 million, 23 years. You did good, Peter. The position was clear. The chakitaqlla has a specific weight, about 4 kilos, mine. I take the right glove off when I use it. The bare palm on the wood gives me the feedback I need to read the soil resistance. The first 2 months I wore both gloves and the tool felt dead in my hands. Doña Celestina, 71, rents me this land and calls me El Gringo de las Papas. She watched me work for a week before she said anything. Then one morning she demonstrated the grip. No words. Just picked up the tool, showed me the hand, put it back down. She has been farming this ground for 50 years. She understands something about where to put the information. The soil at 3,700 meters is volcanic, reddish-gray, cold to 12 centimeters even midday. When you break it open, the inside is a different color than the surface, darker, cooler. Like the ground has a book value and a market value, and they're not the same. I think that approximately 40 times a morning. I don't say it out loud. I noticed 2 weeks ago that I have been estimating the yield on the eastern rows, watching the vine growth, the soil crack patterns, the relative weight of individual plants when I lift them. The number I write down is not a guess. It's a projection based on observed inputs. It's a model, a small model, poorly capitalized, running on soil data and altitude and one woman's 50 years of knowledge. No Sharpe ratio, no alpha attribution. The benchmark is the previous harvest, but the inputs are